Okay, let's bring this up. Come over here, live stream. Hey. Hmm. Let's see. For the meantime, let's take the subdivision surface off. And then wonder whose quote-unquote brilliant idea was to retopologize this thing without including a method of oh, wonderful. Hey. Well, sometimes I just realize that I'm maybe not quite the mad scientist I would like to be when it comes to this. At center. Okay, now then. All I did there was... Okay, let's see. Yes, that edge loop is mildly important, but this one does not appear to be. Before I get rid of any edge loops, let's first make sure that I don't actually need it. Here I find that I deleted an earlier edge loop that I needed, but I left the one that I didn't. And all this mess does is, well, okay, we'll clean that up a little bit later. Clean that up a little later too. Mm, There's a lot of judgment calls in UV unwrapping. Mostly boils down to what you really want. Okay, so then somewhere around here I've got a something that's aha. You see, it's all about finding how the objects physically exist, and I'll have to deal with that shape there in a minute. And how they physically exist tends to also determine quite a bit Sorry, I was thinking there. You know, think before you speak. And it's mostly figuring out how a shape would, how an object would physically be unwrapped. In other words, if you were to paint a box, let's say you've got, pardon the horrible drawing, but let's just say for grins and giggles it's this box. Nothing to see here. Anyways, so you've got a box here as I'm cleaning it up. But your box has... it's your typical box. It's got 6 sides. Let's just clean this image up just... if I was real persnickety, I'd make it easier, but whatever. But, you know... it's 6 sides to it. We'll kind of ignore the fact that this line is more of a curve than a line for now. Any rate, UV unwrapping goes, okay, so in what way am I going to... This version of Paint has lines in it. And as it goes, in what way am I going to do the cuts so that if I had a piece of paper laid out flat, how would it end up actually looking? Would it be something similar to this? More like, actually, would it be closer to this? Where you got your other fold here, you know. It's just making, if you were to put some paper over this, how would it actually work? The short answer is, because it's one of my projects, maybe not so good. Might need some elbow grease or something. Now, for the real beauty of coming through again is that you can make judgment calls that your previous judgment calls were mildly flawed in how you decided to go about things. My issue being that I am mildly constrained in how many edges I can add in and take away. That said, let's mark that as a seam. I come through here and make that go like that. I really don't like those faces contorting like that, but you know, it's not an angle that's going to be seen often. This would be the one instance I would put in eh, I really am not liking how that face is working there. Because it's kind of going like this, and then it's going like that, so it's just kind of twisting the plane. You do eventually come to the point where you realize fretting over a decision that is never going to be seen is not productive to a healthy life. Right now I'm just looking to see if there's anything that really stands out to me as being awful. it's not too terrible. Visor's pretty decent. Okay. Okay. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, the endless laces. Okay, well, what's the best way to do this? Ba-doop-ba-doop. So I'm doing now. Oh. Silly goofy me. Screencast keys. This is probably one of my favorite little plugins in Blender. Let's just make sure it's not... Okay. Yeah, let's give it this box. Okay, so... Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these laces, which is just one giant lace like you would expect it to be, and I'm going to break it apart into teeny tiny little pieces that I'm then going to place on top of each other. This is one of those, it's not necessarily physically accurate. In fact, it's far from physically accurate now that I think about it. But it's one of those, it will save me a bunch of time later down the road. And who really cares about accuracy when you're looking at something that's makes you question the reason that you're even worried about precision, because nobody's going to see it. I mean, I'll see it, but considering this is for a couple of characters that are mostly going to be seen from, I don't know, chest up or something, with maybe some occasional them walking around or whatever, really makes me question my life choice here in doing this. But come over here, mark seam. And as you can clearly see over here, nothing actually changed on that front, but over here, plenty changed. Here's a good question. Any reason why I have this section of this boot in that way? Oh, I almost forgot. Okay. I'll say that this little operate, this little mouse wheel thing, the screencast keys box here used to be a lot nicer. But when we went from the 2.6 to the 2.7 line of Blender, something in it broke. In fact, it's not even a natively supported plugin anymore. I had to do a lot of funny things to get to work. Don't ask me what. I got my version working with it and promptly forgot. If I recall, it wasn't a simple plugin install. Which, given the fact that this is Blender, is actually something. So yeah. Wait. Holding down shift while you press middle mouse button lets you move around the XY plane of your view, as opposed to rotating around. Now this is just your view as opposed to the world or the object, blah 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 blah. Also worth noting that I'm not exactly vanilla right now. I am running with a few nice little plugins. Screencast keys for one, but I also have the pie menu and a few other object-oriented plugins. So I got things like I can create Archimesh, I've got Cloud Generator. Do I not have Ant on here? Huh. Well, ain't that odd? There's an extension I thought I had, but I don't have. Go figure. Yeah. W. So let's see. User preferences. I also messed around with my theme, so that's why it looks a little different. So let's go to maybe it's not in here because it's no longer supported. Okay, let's come over here to mesh. Mesh auto mirror, that could be useful. Edit tools too. Interesting. Mesh. Insert polygon. Let's see. Just relax. Hmm. Okay, add mesh. This is probably what I was looking for. There we go. Ant. Let's add all these just because. So in 3D view, I've got layer management, I got screencast keys. Got the camera rigs. Got a few different things for that. Lighting. Dynamic sky. I'll look at that later. You know, this is one of those things I should probably kind of look at before I make a stream. But let's see, what do we got? I don't think this guy will mind having his plugin streamed. So let's see. Material library is a Blender add-on that will create a material library. No duh. You can save load that can be shared across all your products. Ah, I get it. Ah. Basically, this will just create a file on my computer that I can then load into any project, and I'll have my usual materials say generate right there. I think these would then be linked items to the library, so okay, cool. I come across something new every day. Mesh. This is one I'll have to look at. Nope. Custom normals. Insert polygon. Loops. Snap utilities line. I'll try that out another time. I'll have to do one of these where I'm just going through all these. Node Wrangler. I hear a lot of good things about that. I haven't tried it actually. Object. Add advanced object panels. Add advanced objects. Spool tool. I love spools. Carver MT. Cell fracture. Cell fracture. Crack it. Cloud Generate. I have that. Edit link library. I've got that. Fractured tools. Grease. Scatter object. Ooh, what's that? Render shapes and files. Interesting. Skinfy rig, huh? Hmm. That actually looks like a good one to enable. But pie menu. Hmm. I wonder where I went with that one over that one. Oh well, I've got this pie menu official installed. Render, got a few nice ones. This is pretty much always loaded. Haven't messed with network render before, but I hear it's got decent performance. Lets you chain multiple machines together. Rigify now here, and here is one that is always useful to have. I'll look at that another time. System. Blender ID authentication. Demo mode. Manage UI translations. Ooh, what's this one? Interesting. Scene information. Show information about the .blend file. I love how these descriptions are nondescript sometimes. Well, anyways, back to work. So now what I'm doing, driving the world slowly insane. Anyways, I'm just going to select that part of the patch because that's the part that actually will, perhaps I had to come through real quick and just do it. Verify, nope, no need. I trust myself. This could not backfire in the least. Kaboom. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I will definitely just because I'll make that just straight red. And I'll change the hardness to... there, okay. So that's where the patches will be. I figure I'll put... I don't know if it's going to be mirrored patches or if, like, I'll put insignia, 2 different insignias, whatever. Anyway, this and the female variant, which I'm not sold that I'm going to keep these. Because the female variant will require a little bit of manipulation in this area, and now... darn it. I hate when I do this to myself. Are there faster tools to do what I just did? Yes. Clear seam. Unwrap. I don't know, maybe I'll give these guys some type of body armor to go on top of the suit. Right now I'm looking at is okay, let's put this back in like that. Okay, so how much detail to put in? Quite frankly, I don't care. Okay, so get these. I'll just assign these to being the bracelets. I'll make these laces all the same. And actually, laces, I want you to be just a kind of dark blackish color. Not exactly black, a little lighter, but thereabouts. Also, just so that we have colors, and I'll leave the visor that color because, let's halo it.